The journey is conversations with ordinary people about stories of transformation and how we may have had setbacks in our life and how we persevered through those, how we've learned from those obstacles, and how they've maybe helped us on our path today. Well, welcome to The Journey. My name is Kevin Polkey, and I am the host of The Journey. And we are in that time period where summer is coming to an end. Students are back in school, teachers are back in school, and my favorite time of year with football beginning, as well as the temperatures beginning to shift from our summer warmer months, warmer days, and the humid days to cooler days and cooler nights. It also is the transition from our summer months into the month of September. And the month of September has been identified as a Suicide Awareness Month. As many of you know, for the last 10 years plus, I have become much more educated, much more aware about suicide prevention, intervention, as well as the factors that lead to suicide, specifically young adult suicide. Um, in 2012, I got a phone call on Tuesday morning, and that was from a friend of mine who was a counselor at Rockford Christian and asked me to come and help her and help the school and students after they had found out that the night before, um, one of the sophomores from the class of 2014 had died from suicide. So that next day or that day, I left and immediately went to Rockford Christian and started working with the staff as well as talking with letting the students know what we knew at that time. Uh, a couple years later, um, I got a call that a student that I had worked with, coached. When I say worked with, had coached him when he had been at Rockford Christian on the football team. And my best friend growing up, it was his stepson, Tommy, who had died from suicide that August of 2014. And then I got a phone call in October of 2015 when we had found out that the third classmate of the class of 2014 had died from suicide, and John Carlo had died from suicide that October of 2015. I remember after the funeral that I had gone to with my son Caleb, who was in that class, and saying that I knew that I needed to than do something more than just be a counselor in the community and be available for postventions. Uh, that I reached out to Xavier Whitford, Tommy's mom, and a handful of other people, and we started putting together a one-time rally in March of 2016, where we had a couple guest speakers, and it was going to be a free event at Rockford University. There was a lot of in-kind donations that helped us out with that event, and it was just about raising awareness about the factors that led to young adult suicide. That night, every seat was filled, and we had such a good response from that I started having schools contacting me to want me to come and speak on the factors or suicide prevention. This continued, and in that summer, I had made the decision that those opportunities to speak were not decreasing, but they actually were increasing. I reached out to a friend of mine, Tyler Crosby, who's an attorney, and we started going through the process of um, uh, turning Shatter Our Silence into an official nonprofit, a 5013C. which we did get granted. And since that time period, or since March of 16, we have been a nonprofit, 501(c), and we focus on three things. Originally, it was two, and now it's three things. Specifically raising awareness on the factors that lead to suicide, specifically young adult suicide, and then educating young adults, their significant others, and the professionals that work with them on the factors that lead to young adult suicide. Now, we do go and speak at other locations that may be impacted by factors that lead to suicide, but primarily our educational is geared toward um, young adults as well as the significant others and the professionals that work with them. We have estimated that we have presented to over 30,000 students during this 9.5 year time period, primarily in the high school, middle school, and college age group. We've had the opportunity to be in multiple states speaking. Mayport Naval Base in Florida, as well as Edwards Air Force Base in California. Um, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, we made a decision that we wanted to expand the mission of Shatter Our Silence. We wanted to start identifying young adults who themselves had struggled being in a dark place and had been impacted by the factors that lead to young adult suicide. And now, having gone through an aspect of their recovery, we're giving back to their community, giving back by what they learned by being in that darkness, and being able to um, share what they learned with other people, being a light and other ones who are in a dark place. And so since then, we have identified and then invested in supporting and encouraging young adults. And last year, we created our first short film called Light the Way. And we are in the process of finishing up our second short film that will be coming out on being shown on September 18th at our annual SOS fundraising event, September 18th at Prairie Street Brew House. So the reason why I go into all this, the month of September and the time leading up into September is Suicide Awareness Month. It's not that it's the only time of the year that we want to focus on. What are those factors that lead to young adult suicide or suicide in general? But also, more importantly, what can we do to be the light in someone's darkness? So we are going to continue to believe that together we can prevent suicide by becoming educated, by becoming aware, by having the courage to step into that darkness through that education, through that awareness, and then looking at what things can we help people in all aspects of them developing physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Again, throughout this month, look for our public service announcement commercials that are going to be online, as well as on WTVO and WQRF, and looking throughout the month for some special podcasts that we'll be doing with special guests that will give you a preview of what will be happening on September 18th for our annual dinner. As always, I appreciate you being here. Please pass this particular episode on to other individuals who may themselves be struggling or may know someone who may be struggling. For more resources, you can go to www.shatteroursilence.org or www.4corners, CORNERS 815.com. As always, thank you for being here, and I look forward to being with you next week.